RuneScape is full of ridiculously dedicated players who've managed to push the game to its absolute limits, and with such a large community, even conquering some of the game's most difficult challenges isn't always enough to make you stand out from the crowd. That's where unique Ironman comes in, from self-imposed 7,000-hour grinds to absurd gameplay restrictions to goals that make you ask, hey, are you okay, man? This series takes a look at some of the most ludicrous Ironman builds to ever grace this game. But today, we're diving into 3 accounts that put it all on the line in order to take on the wilderness. Let's jump in. If you're a fan of high-risk old school content, you might recognize today's first account, McSkittles95. McSkittles95 is the passion project of YouTuber Lemoy and was built with the objective of completing all wilderness content as a hardcore Ironman. As if loathing content wasn't difficult enough, having just a single life means that he has to be dialed in every step of the way, and just the smallest lapse of attention could be enough to bring his entire account crumbling down. Accepting these stakes, Lemoy managed to get his hands on an early crossbow and Amulet of Avarice from Revenant, a combination that would perfectly set him up for a very long Revenant grind ahead. Although he's not strictly locked to the wilderness, this hardcore Ironman's progression was largely driven by Wilderness Slayer. This allowed him to stack up Laren's keys for some valuable loot and a chance at the Dagon High Robe set. Even with subpar gear and stats, Lemoy has not shied away from taking on wilderness challenges. Instead, he's employed unique strategies to make escaping PKers viable for a hardcore Ironman, such as leveraging ults to body block Revenants for him, allowing him to log out from danger if he's quick enough. He also dove headfirst into the new wilderness bosses, and his bravery paid off when he managed to obtain the Fangs of Venenatis and upgraded his crossbow to the more powerful Webweaver variant. He's had even more luck though, and in nearly 600 Spindle KC, he's also snagged the Treasonous Ring and the Venenatis Spiderling. But even with all of these impressive drops, the true trophy for a high-risk hardcore Ironman would be the Voidwaker. Released with the Wilderness Boss rework, this incredibly strong item is created by combining 3 components, one from each of the bosses. With the component drop rates being so rare and PKers coming out to the new boss layers in droves, a hardcore Ironman getting their hands on a completed Voidwaker might be one of the biggest challenges a Red Helm could ever take on. This hasn't stopped Lemoy from trying though, and I'm happy to report that he currently has one of the 3 shards already. But with 2 more extremely dangerous bosses standing between him and the Voidwaker, he's gonna have to get creative if he wants to finish this grind with his hardcore status intact. Thankfully, he's documenting this entire crazy journey on his YouTube channel. So be sure to check out his series if you're interested in following his progress, or if you want to try to figure out his next move and put an end to McSkittles95. If completing all of the new wilderness content sounds difficult, have you ever thought about how hard it would be to actually build it? Between designing and implementing the content, creating new game features requires a tremendous amount of knowledge. That's why I'm so excited to announce today's video sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit and online degree offerings in the US, and today I want to tell you about their online game development program. In this program, you'll learn how to create realistic, dynamic gameplay experiences. I'm talking game AI, physics, 2D and 3D graphics, and interface design. You'll also learn computer programming languages like C++, C#, and Java, as well as 3D modeling and texturing with game art software. Courses are taught by faculty with real-world experience, and SNHU is incredibly affordable. So if you're ready to take the next step towards a career in game development, visit snhu.edu/Zorte to see programmer salaries for yourself, and fill out the information request to learn more about how to get started. I've included the link down in the description for you, and another huge thank you to SNHU for sponsoring this video. Trophy accounts have existed since the inception of Old School. Whether it's an untrimmed hit points or Slayer cape, we've seen players grind for thousands of hours to craft the perfect account and then flex it at the GE for the rest of eternity. Now let me introduce you to Boyyo. Boyyo set out with the goal to achieve 99 per hour on his Ultimate Ironman, but without leveling any other combat stats. Now, even under the best of conditions, training per hour on a normal Ultimate Ironman is a slow process. Most of the primary methods used by UIMs like Mythical Dragons, Hydra, or even something slower like Pest Control were not options for Boyyo, since all of those have combat requirements in one way or another. This left him with one viable option, picking up bones. As it turns out though, picking up and bearing bones would take a while. But thankfully he had a few tricks up his sleeve to speed up the process. The game has a few locations with lots of bone spawns, but the best is the Boneyard. Located in level 32 Wilderness, the Boneyard contains 34 normal bone spawns and 6 big bone spawns. At absolute maximum efficiency, someone could get about 9.3k XP per hour by picking up the bones and burying them. This would make 99 per take a measly 1400 hours. Thankfully though, Boyyo took advantage of one more feature. In the far west of the wilderness and a fairly lengthy walk from the Boneyard is the Chaos Altar. A popular per training spot, the Chaos Altar offers 3.5 times the normal experience of burying a bone and a 50% chance that the bone won't be consumed. Even with the long trek across the wilderness, this nearly doubles the expected XP rate and was enough for Boyyo to get a steady 17k per XP per hour. One problem though, this was all happening in the wilderness. With PKers running around and looking for loot, getting PK'd was inevitable. In fact, over the course of 1 to 99 prayer, Boyyo was PK'd 386 times. And with it being a long walk from Lumbridge back to the Boneyard, each death cost around 20 minutes of time, which over the course of the grind added over 100 hours of playtime. Although finally, at level 95 prayer, Boyyo's friend pointed out that he could minigame teleport to Ferox to reach the Boneyard much quicker than just running back from Lumbridge. I guess that one's better to figure out late than never though, right? Despite an insanely long grind and a less than optimized route, Boyyo succeeded in reaching his goal of obtaining an untrimmed prayer cape on his combat level 15 UIM. With his level of patience, Boyyo is absolutely built to play unique Ultimate Ironman. Generally, Ultimate Ironmen in the wilderness don't mesh so well. UIMs can't protect items, meaning that they risk everything on them if they run into a PKer. So keeping your cool under pressure is absolutely essential for wildy survival. Oh no, 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 oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, run, oh no, 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 no. Hey, we don't all have nerves of Rune, alright? Typically, ultimates choose to pile their items before entering the wilderness so that they're not risking hundreds of millions in valuables. But HCIM is not your typical Ultimate Ironman. Similar to Lemoy, HCIM set out to obtain all wilderness pets and drops. Being a UIM though, you'd expect him to play it safe and utilize the 1 hour item death pile mechanic. However, he felt that this was just a waste of time and it would be much more efficient to just keep all his valuables on him at all times. HCIM began his journey at the Revenant Caves, managing to snag a Vigorous Chainmace at only 35 combat. Being one of the strongest items to use against the wilderness bosses, this set him up to blast through Boss Casey at a much faster rate, if he could manage not to lose the Chainmace, of course. Early on in his account, he managed to get the Chaos Elemental and the Scorpia pets before finally putting his mace to work against Callisto. After frequently dodging PKers, he finally landed the Callisto Cub at just under 700 KC. With his item value continuing to stack up, HCIM started theory crafting new ways to more efficiently escape PKers. He began using high-risk worlds where PKers would have to choose to risk more for a chance to take him out, but I think his most clever idea came when he returned to the Rev Caves. By this time, HCIM was carrying significant wealth with him, and the Revenant Caves are one of the most active and dangerous PK locations in the game. He took advantage of lesser known Revenant safe spots and stood underneath cannons to make his character more difficult to click. With his clever tactics, he was able to fully complete the Revlog without dying. Maybe he should have been playing a hardcore all along. Being absolutely stacked at this point, HCIM also managed to get the Venenatus pet and the Vedian pet after some butt-clenchingly close calls against multi-teams. Yeah, that was close. When the Wilderness boss rework dropped, he immediately jumped into pursuing the new upgrades and working towards the Voidwaker without even a second thought. For someone doing this grind today, this is an extremely dangerous effort, but trying to do this deathless on release like HCIM set out to do is insane. In fact, this came just shortly after he managed to acquire several huge upgrades from the Tombs of Amasket, including the Fang and Masori pieces. And while these are great items, they did increase his risk value even further. Still, despite having no time to develop safe methods and against all odds, HCIM managed to complete every new wilderness drop, including the Voidwaker, without getting PK'd in just a few short weeks. This made him the first Ultimate Ironman to obtain a Voidwaker, and between all of his pets, green wilderness collection logs, and willingness to risk upwards of 750 mil to do what no UIM had done before, HCIM is unquestionably the Ultimate Ironman, King of the Wilderness. If you made it this far, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more old school content in your sub box, and if you know of an account that I should check out for this series, let me know below. Thanks again to Southern New Hampshire University for sponsoring this video, and as always, I'm Zorte. Thank you so much for watching.